Hello, everyone. This is Jeremiah Webb with Peak Results Consulting. I wanted to reach out today and start a blab on customer service and call centers. And the reason why is our company at Peak Results Consulting, it's peakresultsconsulting.com. We go in and coach and train the call center agents, reps, anyone involved in the call center, taking in calls, receiving calls, taking inbound calls, making outbound calls. And we're finding several challenges that no one's really addressing and that we're actually addressing now as we do the training, which is a full-day training, and then the ongoing coaching, which is usually every 10 to 14 days, depending on each specific person. And that's ongoing month after month to really hold them accountable and to sustain them at a higher level. Now, the difference is a lot of people just focus on mainly skills, processes, procedures, flows, call flows, specific criteria and ways that they handle the calls. The problem with this is that it's just the mechanics, and that success is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. So if you're only focused on the 20%, you've still got that whole 80% that it's going to determine the success that you're losing out on. So that's probably the biggest and single most massive problem that we see, not only in this country, but in every country across the earth. And so right now, what I'd like to do is talk just for a few minutes here about what we're doing to change the game. How many of you know someone that's really talented and doesn't do anything with their life? Okay, we all know someone like that. We all may have felt like we were that person. But really the difference is we had the talent, we had the mechanics, they had the talent, they had the mechanics, but their mindset wasn't straight, and so they still weren't getting it done and achieving clarity. In call centers, this position in a call center tends to attract people that are really influential and possibly really powerful personalities, but that are kind of lost in life, or that aren't really sure or clear on exactly what they want. Or they may have found it and said they are clear on what they want, and they're just using the call center position to get to another part of the company, which is also pretty common. So what we do is we work with them to help them focus on mindset, staying in great, fantastic moods all the time, learning how to call on that mood and bringing it out immediately when you're on a call or in an interaction with a customer or a client or a potential customer or client. Moods like being playful, like being serious, like being excited, like being happy, like being fun, like being focused, like being energetic, and also like being calm and passionate and compassionate and forgiving and helpful. There are all these different states or moods that we use that we teach them how to learn and lock into and bring out at exact times when the call or the person or the chat or whatever that they're interacting with requires it, needs it, where it will meet their needs at the highest level. And so this is exactly what we do. This is what we focus on. And the majority of the time is spent, and we do touch on processes and have really powerful call processes, or can enhance the ones that you have all right now with the call flow. But really, more than anything, it's about staying in a great mood all the time. Eventually, it will also be about not only staying in a great mood all the time, but coaching others to stay in a great mood all the time. And then even a higher level is being able to influence an entire department, a site, a center, completely everyone at the same time into a great mood all the time. And this starts with leadership, but it also starts with individuals who may be doing it right now. So I want you to understand that if you can learn to focus on being in a great mood all the time when you interact with customers, when you interact with your coworkers, and you're creating three things really. You're creating raving fans, you're creating raving employees, and you're also creating raving coworkers, people that rave about the energy, the strength, the happiness, and the beautiful states and moods that you're constantly in. So when you do that and when you're able to focus on that, what happens is when you're in great moods and great states or states of mind, your responses are great. Your answers are great. The way you go about it is great. When you get into a disempowering mood or a sad mood or a negative mood or a negative state, your answers are negative. Your answers are disempowered. Your answers are not great. And so learning how to manage your moods during the call and in an interaction and even in an employee meeting or a huddle is key. So being in great states, being in beautiful states, being in happy states, being in playful states, being in light humor states where you're able to take something and find a unique and humorous way about it that everyone can connect with, versus and just being really serious and intentional all the time. So the coaching is really based around being in a great mood or a great state all the time. The second process is to understand that energy, the more you expound, the more you'll have. Most people drink coffee all the time. They take caffeine tablets all the time. They drink energy drinks all the time, energy drinks, and all these other sodas and different kinds of things, or candy and all this stuff that boosts their energy and then a fall, and then boosts and a fall. What they don't realize, and what all of our company are living proof of this, we have tremendous energy all the time. We'll do 10 hours, 12 hours of training, 14 hours of training, with just little bathroom breaks along the way, and we're stronger and more powerful, not because we take drugs and eat and take all this crap, but because the more you expound, the more you have. When you go to breathe, there's just air. It's just air. Your heart just beats without you having to tell it to. So what happens is as you learn to just expound it without rules and all these things, like if I do this, I'm going to be tired. If I do this, I'm not going to have energy. But as you just expound it, it will flow to you and it will just come out. And you did that as a kid. But then you had these rules and said, no, I have to conserve it or I'm going to be tired or this or that, right? As a kid, you just went and went and went. You fought sleep. You didn't even want to go to sleep because you knew you had more to give. And it was just like giving everything that you had. And that's why kids fight sleep. It's not annoying. It's actually impressive that they're still living at that level and that you can too. And we can teach and train you how to do that. The third thing is, how do you prepare for your day? Okay, most people don't just walk onto a field and play high-level soccer or football. Most people don't walk onto a diamond and play high-level baseball, just go, go, go. Most people don't walk onto a concert stage and just start cranking it out without some type of warm-up. First, stretching, getting ready, preparing mentally, physically, emotionally, mentally. I said mentally, emotionally again, physically again, spiritually again. All of that stuff, you have to prepare for that. Because if you don't, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get injured, you're going to pull a muscle. How many of us show up to our job in a call center or related to a call center or a sales team outside of the call center and you're not ready to go? And the only thing you've done is grabbed a quick Danish and pounded a coffee or maybe 2 coffees and had a smoke and here I am. Like, how is the performance going to be amazing at that point? So we also give you a 10-minute process of preparing for your shift every single day, no matter what level you are, from associate all the way up to executives and C-level. We give you a way to come in for your shift. You can prepare at work in your shift or in your car on the way there. It's probably not the best idea to do it while you're driving, although some people do drive with their knees, and I've seen this. It's really insane. But it's happened, and I've done that too before, and I try not to ever do it because it's not safe. But really, at your house, at the gym, or at your shift, and what we like to do is have them come in 15 minutes early to their shift, and 5 minutes to just gather stuff up, 10 minutes of where we'll actually ask them to be paid for that 10 minutes, and we'll take them through a process that really gets them mentally and emotionally fit. Because to perform at a high level, you need to be physically fit. To perform at a high level, you need to be mentally fit. To perform at a high level, you need to be emotionally fit. And a lot of people don't agree or don't like this, but there also needs to be a level of spiritual fitness where you're actually at one with yourself. You know who you are, you know what you stand for, and you know that people can't hurt you, that eventually it's everything inside as you learn to let go of all these rules we make up about everything. Well, you have to drive this way or else. And if you have to tell me this way or else, right? And we have all these rules. But what happens is when the biggest gap in people's lives is they don't spend time on themselves. Time for mental and emotional fitness, focusing on what you're grateful for. Focusing on what you want to have happen but hasn't happened yet. Focusing on breathing and getting oxygen into your body. When you are out of breath, you're hunched over going, it's because the oxygen is gone from your blood. You've got to breathe so that your body will process that oxygen and put it in your blood. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so it's not that you're out of energy and you got to hold back. You're not breathing and getting tons of oxygen in your body. When Lance Armstrong and some of these bikers and cyclists, they got in trouble for doping. Doping was simply this. You took oxygen that was already converted into your blood, and then they'd inject it and just have more oxygen in their blood than the other athletes there, which is obviously cheating and illegal, but that's why they were able to go way, way further. Well, you don't have to dope. Just breathe. Have times during the day where you do some power breathing, get lots of oxygen in, let it convert and go to your blood, and go. And you'll have a massive boost. So when we do that, rather than having an up with a caffeine and then a down and an up and a down, we keep it where it's strong and keeps growing like this throughout the day, because we help them to prepare for their day with breathing, with focusing on what you're grateful for. By the way, when you're grateful, you're rich. When you're ungrateful, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you have anxiety, right? And the core of all depression, people say, oh, I'm depressed. And then a doctor will label you as depressed. And then they'll say, you're clinically depressed, where you're so good at being depressed, you're like a master at it. You've mastered the art. You're a black belt in depression. You're clinically depressed, right? But the truth is you're not depressed. You're bored, and you've lost your sense of identity. That's different. And if you think about that, who are you focused on when you're sad and bummed out and depressed? Yourself. It's the highest level of selfishness that there is, that eventually, instead of having life take you out or someone else take you out, people actually take themselves out, which is sad and terrible, right? And it never needs to get to that. And I worked with someone 2.5 months ago that had tried to kill herself, then came back into the call center and was going, and everyone, they couldn't let her go because there was this huge, fear of lawsuit. The whole call center was walking on eggshells because they didn't want to be the one to set this person off and have them try it again, and then be it because that you didn't respond or you didn't give them enough attention or you didn't do this. They didn't want to have that guilt. So when I started working with her, I talked to her and I said, first things first, emotion comes from motion. When you're depressed, are you moving? Fast or slow? I'm not moving at all. Okay? Are you breathing strong, powerful breaths or short, shallow breaths? Barely breathing? Okay, interesting. Are you standing up strong or sitting up strong and straight and powerful? Or are you hunched over like this? So the way you move your body actually determines how you feel. Isn't that interesting? Right? When you're excited and you're happier, are you moving slow or fast? Fast, right? Another question is this. When you're excited and happy, are you breathing strong, powerful, or barely breathing and really deep and really shallow, right? Are you moving, or are you not doing anything and holding totally still? Motion creates emotion. The more you move, the more you feel. The less you move, the less you'll feel. And so it's just getting them to move, getting them to sit up, getting them to sit strong, and also getting them to take control of the mood that they're in versus letting it just happen. So in summary, what I'd like to go with today is this. Number one, someone asked the question, how long are you on the phone? I'm going to be on this for another 4 minutes. I'm going to be closing up right now. Hopefully that answers your question. If you meant something else, please type in a new question. So at this point, if you come in, prepare 10 minutes before your day, do some really powerful breathing, right? Focus on what you're grateful for. Focus on what you want to have happen but hasn't happened yet. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's actually happening and what you vividly imagine. That's why people run in their sleep and stuff, right? Because it feels so real. Well, you can see great outcomes. See people saying, wow, that was a great call. See the outcomes. See the things happening. See people smiling. See people calling in and saying, this was so amazing. My experience was so incredible today. Thank you so much, right? And actually see and feel that before it happens, you'll feel so certain. Your mind will feel so certain that it happened that you'll do it. That you'll actually deliver on what you imagined because it's so powerful. The third thing is to get control of how you're sitting. If you're hunched back like this, you're not going to give your best work than when you're up straight and strong like this, and you're going to feel different. So this lady that we worked with, eventually, in about 22 minutes, we got to the point where not only did she not feel depressed at all, but she was actually really happy and focused and excited. And in the last 2.5 months, she went from everyone walking on eggshells and tension to being in the top 7 out of 60 reps of performance, which is unbelievable. Because we only got her to do 2 things. One, got her to focus on something else. Instead of herself, we got her to start focusing on everyone else. Okay? And then the second thing is we found a new, more empowering way for her to meet her needs. Right now, at that point, she was meeting her needs by getting depressed, where she actually would connect with herself. She had total certainty that she could get depressed really fast. She had uncertainty in not knowing what the outcome was going to be, not knowing how it was going to turn out. She had significance because she felt important, even though she's telling herself she's not important. She felt important when she got depressed because she was labeled as like clinically depressed and drugged and all this stuff. And then she didn't have necessarily love, but she had connection because people found out about it and would connect with her and love her. So I'm just sharing, I'm not saying this is the universal truth, but I'm sharing what we did to work with her, and we gave her a new way to do that. Okay, we gave her a new way of showing her a 10-minute thing where she could focus on things she was grateful for, things she wanted to have happen but haven't happened yet, flooding her mind with some amazing moments, a great phone call, a great meal, a piece of music that touched her, a great conversation, the way someone looked at you and you looked at them, it was like, oh, I like that, that felt good, that look felt fantastic. And doing that instead of the whole depression thing, and it was so much better for her, and she got so much happier so much faster because she was focused on what she could control. She was focused on what did matter, and she reclaimed her identity of who she really was, and that was a really kind, loving, happy person, and she let herself be that way again. So these are the ideas I want to share today. Is number one, prime for your shift. Like spend 10 minutes getting ready, getting strong, getting powerful, breathing, doing those things before you start your shift in a call center. Number two, manage your moods. You've got to be in a great mood. If you're in a great mood, you got great answers. If you're not in a great mood, it's not great answers. Number three, change the way you're sitting or standing. If you start feeling like you're having a crappy day, move, sit different. You're hunched over, you're leaned over. It's happening, I promise. Sit different and it will be different. And the last but not least, number four, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Focus on what you can control. Focus on what you're grateful for. Focus on how many people you get to serve and interact with and influence. My name is Jeremiah Webb with Peak Results Consulting. I want to thank everyone today and appreciate you listening, and I'll do another one very soon. Thanks.